Well, Australia came to a near standstill late last week as the Melbourne Cup Day, well, in fact, it was the week before that, wasn't it? The Melbourne Cup Day was run, coinciding, of course, with the Reserve Bank Board decision. And then we had the US election. There was a lot to put your money on, in fact. So how did the bookies fare? Well, Tom Waterhouse, Chief Investment Officer at Waterhouse VC, joining us now. Tom, welcome back.
Thank you, Andrew. Good to be back.
Yeah, we're talking about is how crazy that particular Tuesday was. Let's start with the big race. Actually, I might ask you, people now saying it no longer stops the nation. Do you think that's a fair assessment?
Look, for me, it stops for me because I'm in the industry. But I definitely, in terms of, I think you can see with crowd size a bit different to 25 years ago. I remember at school, we'd sit down, we'd watch it where after school, everyone would stay back in the big hall and watch the Melbourne Cup, where I don't hear my kids doing that.
But maybe it's anymore. A different way of watching, because back then it was either on the one channel on TV,
Correct.
Or you'd have to actually go to the race,
phone,
right?
Yeah.
Now you can just...
It's definitely a far more global event though now. It's,
okay.
You've got all the international horses, and it's a big deal globally.
And how does its prize money now rank globally?
Look, Melbourne Cup, you've seen the most expensive horse race in the world in Saudi Arabia now, and then you've got the Dubai World Cup, you've got the Everest obviously, but it's still a huge prize money event, and you're seeing all the big stables around the world sending the best stayers to Melbourne. So it's the best staying race, I think, in the world.
All right, so how did the bookies do?
Look, it looked like a bookie's day. Like 7 out of the 9 winners were over $9.
Well, I mean, the ultimate winner, that was a surprise, wasn't it?
It was like 300 to 1. They bet at the call of the card. Yeah, it's But I saw one of the bookies had a really bad result on it. It was actually one of the best backed horses at the call of the card. Some very savvy punters backed it. But I think overall the Melbourne Cup Carnival looked like a week of good results, generally for the bookmakers.
All right, well, as I mentioned, it wasn't the only thing to bet on. We also had the election itself. Like maybe some people aren't familiar with this, that we can pretty much bet on anything these days, can't you?
Yep. And the election has become, political betting has become a huge thing, especially for exchange betting, and the volume growth for this presidential election was amazing to see. Like you had the likes of Polymarket, it grew from, I think it did 10 million turnover as a startup in 2020, and it did 3.5 billion US in turnover on the election. I've actually never seen a betting brand do a better marketing job. You had the former president or the president-elect tweeting about Polymarket. It was incredible. And you've got many exchanges like Betfair, which is the original exchange. It did about 450 million in turnover. And you had these political pundits or spectators basically saying the election's going this way before the election results came in, saying, well, the markets, they're $1.02 or $1.03, and it's done. It was amazing.
Well, I was going to ask you on that point, do you think the betting markets actually got it right and the polls got it wrong? Because we were seeing a lot of independent polling there suggesting that Kamala Harris was going to win.
Yeah, well, I think it can be true with stocks or anything, is don't tell me what you like, where are you actually putting your money? And that is true with betting. The betting tells the tale. You can say a horse has a terrific chance or sporting team has a terrific chance, but if the money comes for it and it's $1.01 or $1.10, well, it represents a high likelihood of winning. And we saw that with the election. You saw that the betting markets and the crypto markets were moving quicker than the results coming in the polling market and traditional media. It was really amazing. And Polymarket, because it's a decentralized platform and actually doesn't take any business from the US, was more extraordinary that it turned over so much money compared to the traditional exchanges. And I think being decentralized and taking liquidity from all around the world, if it can transition to being more broad in its markets, it's a real force to be reckoned with in the future.
Because as you say, it also allows for betting on the adoption of crypto, price movements in crypto.
They've done, I think, the best job I've seen in a long time, if not ever, in terms of marketing. But they've also, and this is what a lot of these crypto operators have done, is they've changed the user experience and the way that you interact with the betting operator significantly. And Polymarket have done that very well.
All right. Now, locally, Flutter, which has its Sportsbet
brand.
How's that tracking at the moment?
Well, it's a behemoth. It's just an amazing company. We're obviously, as a fund, we focus on B2B. We don't go on the operators, because the operators over the last 5-6 years have really been hit by regulation and taxation. But if you're going to be in a high taxed and highly regulated environment, you want to be in an operator that has scale. And Flutter has global scale. Obviously the largest operator in the US with FanDuel, largest here in Australia with Sportsbet, largest in the UK with Paddy Power, Sky Bet, Betfair, and so on. And they just have executed amazingly well. They've been amazing with M&A. They've bought some businesses which now look really cheap. And they've got, as they talk about in their results, the flywheel effect. They've got the scale that can put more money into marketing, attract more customers. Then with the more customers, because they have the money, they're able to offer a better user experience, customer experience, give away better odds, and that retains the customers. So they're attracting more customers and retaining the customers at better value, and then can keep putting more money into that flywheel. And they've just been amazing. And their results, they just announced this week, continue to see great growth in the US, and looks like that business is going to be, EBITDA is profitable. So they're doing a really good job. And Sportsbet in Australia, the growth has slowed somewhat, but you'd expect that. It's a mature market here, but they're still executing extremely well.
So if you look at that betting platform market, is it becoming more or less concentrated?
So in the regulated market, it's becoming more concentrated in that there are clear winners. So Flutter is a global winner. You know, it's either gold medal or silver medal position in all the regulated markets. You know, they bought this Bet Nacional brand in Brazil. Brazil looks like it's going to open up at the beginning of the year. So they're going to have pole position there. They own Sisal in Italy, Sportsbet here, FanDuel, they own Sky Bet, they own PokerStars business. They're a global regulated, they're New York Stock Exchange, $40-50 billion market cap company. So in the regulated marketplace, it's becoming more concentrated. But in the crypto space, you're seeing new operators that are finding new ways to market and new ways of user experience and engagement, and that is not so much concentrated. Obviously, stake is probably the clear leader, but you're seeing lots of young operators doing something different,